This is a key to part C of topic 11, and in topic 11, that's where you're solving systems of linear equations. But in this particular uh, worksheet, you want to solve this by using elimination addition. So let's look at number one. And so number one, we have, again, this is a key to topic 11, part C. Okay, so number one, we have this. We have this system, x minus 6y equal negative 6, and then 9x minus 7y equal 40. So the first thing you have to do when solving by elimination or addition is to make sure that all your variables are aligned, just like this. So the x's are together, the y's are together, and the constants on the other side. Okay, so that's important. X's must be aligned, y's must be aligned, and your constants must be on the other side. Now here's the idea with the elimination addition. So basically the whole point, remember, is at some point you're going to add those two equations together. And in order to add them, you want one of the variables to be eliminated. So in order for one of the variables to be eliminated, the coefficients have to be opposites, either the x's or the y's. So notice if you add these right now, none of the variables are eliminated. You get x plus 9x is 10x, a negative 7y and a negative 6y is a negative 13y. Okay, so adding them right away is not going to help you at all. So what you got to do is you got to figure out, well, how can I multiply both sides of either this equation or that equation or both, so that way I can get the coefficients of either the x's or the coefficient of either the y's to be opposites. So it does not matter whether you eliminate the x's or eliminate the y's. If you notice though, see this x right here has a coefficient of 1? It is easier to eliminate the x's at this point. You could do the y's, same thing, it's no big deal, but it is easier to eliminate the x's. So what I would do is, let's go ahead and write out, I'm going to eliminate the x. Okay, eliminate x. And so basically what's going to happen now is this. You got to figure out what is the least common multiple of 1 and 9. So the least common multiple of 1 and 9 is 9. So that means that this is already 9. You need this to be a 9. So that means you're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 9. So to eliminate the x's, you're going to multiply. So you're going to find the least common multiple. So the least common multiple is 9. All right, so also remember, you're going to add, right? So that means that these have to be opposites. So if you multiply by 9, then this will be a 9x and a 9x. So you need one of these to be negative. So let's just go ahead. When I multiply the first equation by 9, let's actually do it by negative 9. So I get negative 9 times x minus 6y equals negative 6 times negative 9. So all I did was I multiplied the first equation by negative 9. And then we're going to leave the second equation alone because it already has the coefficient of 9. So 9x minus 7y equal 40. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and simplify the first equation. So negative 9 times x is a negative 9x. A negative 9 times 6y is a negative, this 6y, right? So that's going to be a positive 54y equal, and a negative 6 times a negative 9 is a positive 54. Second equation, 9x minus 7y equal 40. Now at that point, once you recognize that you have coefficients that are opposites, now you're going to add them up. So that's where the adding comes in. So when I add the x's together, that's 0. So that's 0 right here. When I add the y's together, 54y subtract 7y gives us 47y. And then 54 plus 40 gives us 94. Dividing both sides by 47, I get y to be 2. So I found the y coordinate of my solution. So your solution will have a y coordinate of 2. Now we got to find x. So now I got to find x. So we're going to find x. And to find x, all you do is substitute. So you're going to substitute y equal 2 into one of these equations. Does not matter which one. Does not matter which one. I'm just going to go ahead and use the first one. So I'm going to substitute y equal 2 into the first equation. So we got to solve for x. So I get I get x minus 6 times y, which is 2, equal negative 6. And so I get x minus 12 equal negative 6. Add 12 to both sides. I get x to be 6, because negative 6 plus 12 is 6. So I found my solution. So my solution is 6, 2. And you can always check, just like we did before. So let's just check both equations in the original. So I have x minus 6y equal negative 6, and I have 9x minus 7y equal 40. And so all you do is just in place of x, you substitute 6, and in place of y, you substitute 2. So here's what we get. 6 minus 6 times 2, I want to see that's equal to negative 6. So 6 minus 12 is equal to negative 6. Over here, 9 times 6 minus 7 times 2, I want to see if that's going to equal 40. Well, 9 times 6 is 54, 7 times 2 is 14, and when you add them up, when you subtract, you do get 40. All right, so that's correct. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, we have 4x minus 3y equal 30, and then 2x plus 7y equal negative 36. So again, let's remember that first you want to make sure is that the variables are aligned. So the x's are together, the y's are together, and the constants on the other side. What I want to do though here is now it's easier to eliminate the x's, because see all you need to do is just multiply this by negative 2 and you get negative 4. But I just want to go ahead and eliminate the y's just to show you what you would need to do. All right, so let's go ahead and eliminate the y's. It doesn't matter, you can eliminate the x's or the y's. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the y's just to show you what you would need to do. Okay, so to eliminate the y's, you got to look at the least common multiple of negative 3 and 7. So the least common multiple will be 21. Okay, so that's the smallest number that 3 and 7 will go into. And so now we're going to have to multiply. So let's look at our equation. So 4x minus 3y equal 30, and then 2x plus 7y equal negative 36. All right, so now we're going to multiply. Since none of the y's have 21, I'm going to have to multiply both equations by a number. I want you to notice, though, that the coefficients of y's, one's negative, one's positive. So I don't have to worry about now multiplying, making one of them negative, like we did in number 1. So what I'm going to do is this now. So if that's a negative 3 and I want that to be a negative 21, then I got to multiply this by 7. So this times 7, this times 7. If this is 7 and I want this to be a 21, then I've got to multiply this by 3 and this by 3. So what you do to one side, you do to the other. And so now this becomes 7 times 4x is 28x. 7 times a negative 3y is a negative 21y equal. And then 30 times 7 is 210. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 21y is a positive 21y equal. And then negative 36 times 3 will give us a negative 108. Now we can add them up because now these are opposites. So now we can add these up. So when I add them up, 28x plus 6x will give us 34x. This is 0 equal 210 minus 108 will give us 102. Divide both sides by 34. I get x to be 102 divided by 34 gives us 3. So I found the x coordinate. So the x coordinate is 3. So for my solution, I get 3. To find the y coordinate, now we got to find the y coordinate. So now we got to find y. So to find y, we're going to substitute x equal 3 into one of those equations. Does not matter. So I'm going to go to the second one. So I get 2 times 3, because x is 3, plus 7 times y equal negative 36. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 7y equal negative 36. Subtract 6 from both sides. I get 7y equal a negative 42. Divide both sides by 7. I get y to be a negative 6. So that's your y coordinate. So that should be your solution. And you can check by going back and substituting those coordinates into your equations. Now, I want to show what's going to happen though. Now remember, I eliminated the y. So some of you may have eliminated the x's. All right, so this is what you would have done. So if you eliminate the x's, you would have done this. So the least common multiple of 4 and 2 then would be 4. So least common multiple is 4. So then what you got to do is you got to think now, all right, that's already a 4. I need this now to be a negative 4 because I need these to be opposites, negative 4. So that means then that I've got to multiply this by negative 2. All right, so we're going to leave the top equation alone because that already has a 4. And so I'm going to leave the top equation alone. And then all I'm going to do now, I'm going to rewrite the second equation. And we got to remember that I've got to multiply this by negative 2 now. All right, because I need this to be a negative 4. But what I do to one side, I do to the other. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to get this. I get 4x minus 3y equal 30. A negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4x. A negative 2 times 7y is a negative 14y equal, and then a negative 36 times a negative 2 is a positive 72. Now I can add them up because these are opposites. So the x's divide out or become 0. So I get negative 3y and negative 14y is a negative 17y. 72 plus 30 is 102. Divide both sides by negative 17. I get y to be, and then 102 divided by 17 will give us a negative 6, and that's what we had earlier. Okay, so I found the y coordinate of my solution. Now I just got to find x. So to find x, now what you're going to do is you got to find x. So you're going to substitute y equal negative 6 into one of these equations. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to use the first one. So I get 4x minus 3 times y is negative 6, equal 30. So I get 4x. Negative 3 times negative 6 is a positive 18, equal 30. Subtract 18 from both sides. I get 4x equal, that's going to be, what's that, 12? Divide both sides by 4. I get x to be 3. And that's what we got here. So that's your solution. All right, so it did not matter. It did not matter whether you eliminated the y's first or the x's first. You still get the same solution. Okay? All right, so that's number 2. And then number 3, you have 7x plus 8y equal negative 35. And then 2x minus 6y equal negative 10. Okay, so let's just go ahead and eliminate the x's, and we'll do the same things with the y's. So let's go ahead and eliminate the x. So to eliminate the x, you got to find the least common multiple. So the least common multiple of 7 and 2 is 14. So none of these are 14. So that means I got to multiply both sides by a number. And notice that both of these are positive. So I got to use a negative on one of them. Okay? So let's go ahead and rewrite this over. So I get 7x plus 8y equal negative 35. And then I get 2x minus 6y equal negative 10. So I want this to, let's make this the 14, this the negative 14. Does not matter, by the way. You can make this negative 14, this positive 14. Does not matter. Let's make this 14. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 then. Positive 2, positive 2. We're going to make this negative 14. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 7, because negative 7 times 2 is a negative 14. And so now this becomes 2 times 7x is 14x. 2 times 8y is 16y equal, and the negative 35 times 2 is a negative 70. Over here, negative 7 times 2x is a negative 14x. Negative 7 times a negative 6y is a positive 42y equal, and then this is a positive 70. Okay? Now we're going to add them up since these are opposites. 14x negative 14x is 0. So I get 42y plus 16y is going to give us 58y equal. Now this is 0 because negative 70 plus 70 is 0. So I have 58y equals 0. Dividing both sides by 58, I get my y coordinate to be 0. 0 divided by 58 is 0. So in your solution, your y coordinate is 0. And so to find the x coordinate, you go back and you're going to substitute. So to find x, you're going to substitute y equals 0 into one of these equations. It does not matter which one. I'm going to use the first one. So 7x plus 8 times 0 equal negative 35. 8 times 0 is 0, so I get 7x equal negative 35. Divide both sides by 7. I get x to be negative 5. Okay? And you can check, if you want to check, let's go ahead and check this. So let's check both of them. 7x plus 8y equal negative 35. And then the other equation is 2x minus 6y equal negative 10. So in place of x, I'll substitute negative 5. And in place of y, I'll substitute 0. So I get 7 times negative 5 plus 8 times 0. And I want to see if that's going to equal negative 35. Well, negative 35, this is 0. So negative 35 plus 0 is negative 35. Over here, I get 2 times negative 5 minus 6 times 0. And I want to see if that's going to equal negative 10. This is 0. And this is negative 10, so that is true. All right. Now, remember, I eliminated the x's first. If you want to eliminate the y's first, you can. So let's eliminate the y and see what work you would have had to do there. So to eliminate the y's, you got to find the least common multiple of 8 to negative 6. And so least common multiple of 8 to negative 6 is 24. Okay? So to eliminate the y's, the least common multiple is 24. And so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this over. So here is our equation. And so to get 24, and by the way, one's positive, one's negative, so I don't have to worry about making one negative like I did here. So to make this 24, I got to multiply 8 by 3. So I'm going to say times 3 times 3. To make negative 6 and negative 24, I've got to multiply by 4 times 4 times 4. All right, now when I do that, I'm going to get, let's go ahead and get rid of the parentheses. So we have 3 times 7x is 21x. 3 times 8y is 24y equal. And then 35 times negative 35 times 3 will go to negative 105. Over here, 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times negative 12 is a negative 24y equals, and then that's negative 40. Now, see how these are opposites now? So I'm going to add them up. This becomes 0. So 8x and 21x is 29x equal, and then negative 105 plus a negative 40 is a negative 145. Divide both sides by 29, I get x to be, and then 145 divided by 29 gives us a negative 5. And so remember, that's what we had here. All right, so I found the x coordinate of my solution, which is negative 5. Now I've got to find the y coordinate. So to find the y coordinate, you're going to substitute x equal negative 5 into one of these original equations. Did not matter which one. I'm going to use the first one again. So 7x plus 8y equal negative 35. So where we see the variable x, I'm going to substitute negative 5. So 7 times negative 5 plus 8y equal negative 35. 7 times negative 5 is a negative 35. So I get negative 35 plus 8y equal negative 35. To get 8y by itself, I got to add 35 to both sides. And when I do that, this is 0, so I get 8y. This is also 0. So I get 8y equals 0. So dividing both sides by 8, I get y to be 0. Okay? And so again, it's the same thing we had here, eliminating x's first, and then here, eliminating the y's first. Okay? So that is the key to Part C, Topic 11.